And we are live here on our YouTube channel, Tackle Trading's Halftime Report. We've got Matt and Mark and Tim and Cody all here today to break down the markets and kind of the same old storylines here today. You know, I asked you right before we went live, Matt, is today the last day of kind of all this garbage news headlines? You know, not exactly the wording I used a minute ago, but where it's kind of like the fake stuff, and we're going to get down to business afterwards. What do you think?
We've had a lot of made-up headlines over the last couple of weeks in the market. There's no doubt about that. Market up today on positive trade news. Okay. Yeah. I thought we were there. I thought we were there. GDP numbers not going to come in line because of Boeing, and I'm like, Boeing doesn't represent $500 billion to the market. That's not an accurate statement in any capacity. So yeah, I do believe we're finally past the fake news headlines, and we can get to real fake earnings reports. We can get to fake earnings reports.
Well, I mean, at least it will be data and numbers that we can then crunch and look at and analyze from a market's perspective. By the way, those of you who are out there watching our show, welcome out as always. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, click the bell, be a part of our channel. We go live and do this each and every day, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mohammed says, Coach Tim, you were right about the Ukrainian plane. Shout out to Tim. Called it on the day. Yeah. Called it on the day, and I have to eat a little bit of crow here because I was like, Tim, we're not going to your conspiracy theory today, and yet he was right. Ukraine, that sad situation, no doubt about that, but It does look like Iran did shoot that plane down.
Yeah, no, I saw that headline as well, and obviously they're saying easing tensions in Iran are one of those fake headlines I'm talking about. Who knows if the tensions in Iran are going to stay eased for some time, Matt? We're literally... I mean, come on, guys, we're very early in a process where we just had ballistic missiles fired a week ago. You've got protest in Iran. Let's not say that thing's all settled out yet.
Put 2019. All right.
I don't know what'll give me more joy if you didn't make the mistake, and we've got you cussing on YouTube right now.
All right. Well, we're back live again. Sorry. I tried to correct the title of the YouTube, and I pulled us down. Sorry
All
about that.
All I know is Tim asked me how I was doing, and the feed cut out. So maybe you should take those pleasantries and, you know.
Yeah, I think Cody prematurely is like, I don't want to hear Mark's answer to that. Let's just cut the feed.
Sure. Well, I'm glad we cut it out there for a minute because there were a few choice words said towards me, Mark. I'm just asking you how your morning is. You know, it's like, what's wrong with that? You know, cup of coffee. How you doing today? How's the weather? It's a nice thing that humans have been doing for a long time.
Isn't there a probability factor here that Tim actually does care how your day is going?
Tim is a liberal,
which means he cares. Which means he cares.
No heart. It's all manipulation and fake sentiment. He just wants to appear to be woke on all subjects.
Sometimes a hug is just a hug. All right.
Listen, why don't you take that geopolitical analysis and actually use it to try to win a game once?
All right. Let's break down the markets here. S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, and the Russell. Matt, there's not a lot of change here in the broad market in that respect. We do have major earnings coming out tomorrow, which are going to start to affect these price actions a little bit. As we're seeing it right now, we are riding the lightning. We're above the 9, the 20, the 50. We're above all moving averages. Quite frankly, Matt, we're about to hit a new all-time high. We do owe you a steak dinner. I know that was the last day before you left. We'll talk about that later in the show, but markets have been strong. Here we are, 3287 on the S&P. Matt, what are you seeing in just the chart itself? Forget the news, because the news headlines are the headlines. But
I mean, media has to give a headline to something, right? But this bull market just doesn't want to stop. I mean, that's really kind of what it boils down to, regardless of, you know, any type of economic data, any type of fundamental data, any type of geopolitical data. It does not matter. This market does not want to slow down, and it's just buy everything. So, you know, you're seeing a continuation of that today. I mean, you're in front of some pretty significant earnings reports coming out later on this week with, you know, the banks kind of starting that all-important fourth quarter earnings season. JP Morgan, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, US Bank Corp, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, all reporting earnings. And so you're just seeing a little bit of the continuation of what really kind of started about a year ago now. And the market has been so resilient in the face of so many different key economic factors. And, you know, that's why coming into the year this year, I just felt like it was going to be a continuation of the euphoria of 2019. And, you know, honestly speaking, we almost went to war with Iran, and yet we're still, pinging at all-time highs here.
Yeah, no, I mean, literally this market can shrug off anything. I mean, it's like a prize fighter that can take a punch right in the nose and just keep on chugging. There's no question about it. It doesn't really matter what the nature of that headline is. They just keep coming and we're bullish, 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 bullish. Mark, this is one of the reasons on Friday when we were in the halftime show, you were talking about trust the chart. Don't trust your brain, trust the chart, focus on the chart. Is there anything in this chart, Mark, that is standing out that I'm not seeing maybe? I'm just seeing bullish above all moving averages, flying high. Is there anything you're seeing as well to add to that?
No, like anybody with anyone with rudimentary technical analysis skills, chart's pretty easy to read. Chart's pretty easy to read right now. So
yeah,
I mean, I like to pretend like I have some great insight, but that's a bullish trend. I mean, that's a really strong. I don't even know if you can classify it as a short-term bullish trend anymore. Like
we've been going up 3 months. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Intermediate at least, right? And long-term as well. All trends are bullish right now, Matt. Don't you think?
Well, every time frame of the trend is bullish. When you're looking at the short-term trends and you're really tracking the last month to 3 months, when you're looking at intermediate trends and you're tracking the last year, or when you're looking at long-term trends. I mean, every trend here is bullish in mind, but it's not just the bullish nature, Tim. You're overextended on a lot of these time frames and you're still building momentum coming into it. So, you got increasing momentum environment from a weekly chart. You're breaking out on this weekly chart based on the last couple of weeks, a little bit of a high base type scenario. On the daily chart, you're threatening another breakout here to the all-time high. And, I don't think as traders and investors, we should question what we're seeing. And again, we talked about this last week about how sometimes when you look at and when you dive into the geopolitical nature of it, or you dive into the economic nature of it, and it's like, man, I don't understand the fundamental reason or the economic reason why the market's going up. And then you realize that over the last 10 years, you wouldn't have realized the fundamental or the economic reason why this market's going up. The market has a very simple belief, and it has nothing to do excuse me, it has nothing to do with politics or geopolitical situations or economic factors. The market has a belief that the Fed has its back. And if anything crazy happens out there, the Fed's going to throw billions upon billions upon billions of dollars at the situation to try to continue to expand the marketplace. And that underlying belief is one of the reasons why the market is confident in where to put its money right now.
And that's probably the major fundamental undercurrent behind this market, the expanding Fed balance sheet, even though it's not a QE program. It's one of the reasons on the prediction podcast, we all had gold going higher as well. We'll break down the precious metal here in just a minute, but you're right. And bank earnings this week, I'm going to be focused on quite a bit here as well, but that's going to be more like tomorrow. Let's move on to the dollar. I want to get your take on a couple things. There's a bunch of companies I want to talk about later: Netflix, Lulu, Biomed, and Tesla particularly. But let's break down all the markets first. Dollar's in a classic bearish retracement. I mean, the reality is you got a couple of dojis coming in here. I'm sure there's setups you can play. But Matt, the real headline for me here was not about the chart or any of the currency stuff. We got economic data. They took the tag off of China being a currency manipulator, I guess. Is there something new that happened over the weekend I'm not aware of that they don't manipulate currency?
No. There was absolutely not one justifiable reason to remove that, other than the fact that we just made it up and now we removed it because we wanted to play nice, right? China didn't make any decision to remove the soft dollar peg to the dollar. They haven't did anything regarding their monetary policy other than pegging it at 7, which they've done for absolutely ever. And I haven't seen anything coming out of China to indicate that we should remove this currency tag. This is what drives me crazy about the political situation. We create these things and then we create these fake resolutions to a problem that we created, and then we don't have any justifiable reason for doing that. But yeah, we did remove that. But I think what is kind of under that headline is a lot of these emerging market currencies, including the Russian ruble, are really kind of skyrocketing against the dollar right now. China's currency, the Indian rupee, the South African rand, the Brazilian currencies. I mean, these emerging market currencies have done really, really well against the dollar over the course of the last couple of months. And now you're seeing the dollar sitting in a bearish retracement type scenario. You do have slowing momentum here, but you're kissing off right now. You see this slowing, you see this upward movement, and then you come flat out into a ceiling called the 50-day moving average. You start slowing down at that 50-day moving average, and you can kind of see that double top, triple top scenario right there with the violation of support right there at about 97.30. If you break 97.30, you're going to have some triggers on some currencies that are going to be pretty decent trades, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, you've got that setup right there. And Cody, you did the Forex report over the weekend. What pairs are you focused on this week? You're my Forex kid. You did that Forex 101 course over at Tackle Trading a couple months ago is when we released that. There's a lot of the major pairs that are setting up. The euro dollar is a great one. Cody, what are you looking at? What are you watching for?
The two that I focused on the Forex report were the US CAD dollar and then the New Zealand dollar, which is still in a bullish retracement.
That's a nice breakout on the dollar yen right there.
Yeah, most of the premise of my well, and actually I did point out that one too. I said, Japan, make up your mind, because at first it looked like it was going the other way, and then within a week it turned around. And I said,
I could see a nice little pairs trade: short US dollar CAD, long US dollar Japanese yen.
Yep, I like it. But actually, the main thing I kind of talked about in the Forex report is it might be a time to go fishing. There's time to go long, time to go short, time to go fishing. I was like, there are easier markets to trade right now than the Forex market.
Have you ever been fishing?
There are.
That, first of all, time out. That just, my brain goes on. I'm like, did you get stopped out of some trades last week, kid? Is this an emotional reaction in your own?
It wasn't. It wasn't at all.
I do see some potential swing trades really setting up. I think Cody nailed it. The US dollar CAD pair breakout is or retracement is legit. The bullish retracement on the New Zealand dollar here is legit. And I said it briefly, but I could really be convinced into a pair trade going long on the dollar against the yen and short the dollar against the New Zealand or the Canadian dollar here.
Yeah, dollar yen carry, and then
especially if you're bullish on this bullish retracement we're seeing here on gold. If gold here confirms, New Zealand and CAD could be two really good trades there too.
Going to be interesting to watch. I actually think the commodities are setting up for some interesting price action as well. We'll keep checking the currency markets. Obviously, this deal on Wednesday is supposed to be signed between China and the U.S., Matt, but we've known that for months. We'll see how that works out. Is there anything, Cody, that I'm not aware of that could be thrown in there that would throw that off? I'm expecting them to sign that.
I've been expecting them to sign something for months now, so I'm not holding my breath until the pen's on paper, until the ink is dry.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with Cody on that. We've fooled me once, fooled me twice, fooled me thrice. I mean, it's kind of that scenario with them, and I could see some scenarios where they delay it.
Yeah,
I could see scenarios there.
Mark, if you had a delayed trade deal signing on Wednesday, would that disrupt the market more than? Because I don't think that would be good for stock prices. Everybody's priced in that they've got this deal moving forward.
Listen, it depends on the lies or rhetoric that they say associated with it.
Yeah.
Like if it gets signed, then market gets a bump because market likes to go up on manufactured problems. If they delay it, as long as they're like, hey, we're closed, this and that, the trade war really only has impacted the market really negatively when there's been an escalation. So as long as there's no escalation, the market's looking for any reason to go up every freaking day. Like after the unemployment report on Friday, what did the market do? The report was terrible. What did the market do? Went up. Now it slid during the day, but initially it went up. It's just looking for a reason to go up.
Yeah. By the way, a lot of comments coming in here in the chat. Always love seeing you guys active out there, Team Tackle. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think you're probably right, though, Mark. They would come out with a reason why they're not doing it and delay it. But I think a deal's getting done on Wednesday. I think it would be bad for prices if they didn't. I think it would be bad for Trump if they didn't. But we'll see.
I don't think we have risk to the trade war this week.
It's going to be something else, maybe even no risk at all. The market just keeps chugging along.
CPI report. You got CPI report this week. You got the PPI report this week. You got retail sales numbers coming in this week. You got consumer confidence numbers coming in this week, and you have the banks reporting earnings. I don't think this market's going to care about whatever fake news or real news comes out on the trade war. So
if the market focused on the bullet points you just identified, I'm going to be a happy trader, because then we're back to business that's actually about data, which is what I'm looking forward to. Let's talk commodities here real quickly. Crude oil, some of the energy stocks. I want to look at that crude oil price chart, Matt, because that pullback is now, we are 6 candles in a row that are red. And this is that same news event kind of analysis that we had before. I know they're different news stories. One was a disruption in Saudi Arabia. The other one was conflict in Iran. But we had that gap out, then it backfilled for a couple of weeks. We're now red candles straight all the way down to the 50-period moving average. I mean, how do you read this price action right here, Matt?
Well, it's what I said last week, Tim, with what the reaction we saw to the Iranian situation, and then couple that with the negative, well, not a negative, but an increasing supply condition from an EIA numbers that came out last Wednesday. It really just put a tremendous amount of volatility in crude here, and I called it untradeable last week, and I still kind of feel like it's that today. We're still in, and again, I get all the tensions in Iran are slowing down. And I'll just remind people that Iran and the U.S. hasn't gone along since 1979. Mm-hmm. So we're 41 years into this negative relationship with Iran. I don't think what happened last week's going to, just go away here. I still think we're going to have some increasing news conditions. And until crude gets back to, kind of trading on supply and demand, not geopolitical factors, I think this is a stay away from me. Now, you are sitting at the 50-day moving average. The trend line I drew earlier today, you're sitting at a very significant trend line. You are reducing the volatility that did come out from last week. So I could see somebody looking at this scenario and saying, okay, overreaction from last week. Let's see if we can get some slowing momentum this week and maybe pick it up and maybe buy back above 60. I could definitely see some traders looking at it from that capacity. But I just, in a hot market, when you have so many different setups happening right now, I mean, just, and, I said earlier today, my favorite trade of the week coming into this week, guys, it's AMD's breakout of $50. If AMD can break out of $50, there's nothing there. And that is a significant whole number here with the tick right there at 49.96. So pretty easy trade setup on AMD above 50 with the stop loss underneath 50. That's easy. Looking at this crude setup, that's not easy right here. That's a deep retracement. And there's a lot of, you stare at this chart long enough, I promise you can convince yourself of something, and it should be to stay away.
Not a bad call. I'm trying to convince myself of a stay away or a bull put, and I'm on the fence here, and I'm looking at that deep retracement. I want to play off the volatility. I want to get the credit deep out of the money, play zone defense. Mark, I
think you're early there, bro. I think you're early there.
I think you're right. Mark, what's your take? Let's get a perspective on this one as well.
Well, you were here on Friday. Obviously, you didn't pay attention to anything I said.
I always listen to what you say.
Then what was the signal I was looking for on Friday?
You were looking for upward confirmation on the intraday to get back above.
What was the specific confirmation I was looking for?
Above 60, I believe, was confirmation.
I never use price confirmation.
Okay, then I was not listening on Friday, apparently. But give me that signal.
For me, what I'm doing, and once again, this is for cash flow only. It's not for directional. I'm looking for a reversal with confirmation above the 50 hourly, which has not occurred yet. So
yeah, but wasn't that at $60? Aren't we saying the same thing?
You know what, Tim? You know what happens to moving averages?
They move.
They move.
That's why they're called moving averages. So,
all right.
Oh, I'm glad to have Mark here.
I was gonna say I need some double bottoms on some intraday. I need some slowing momentum on the intraday. I need price confirmation above 60. That's where I'm looking at. Yeah. Give me a double bottom at 58, slowing momentum with some increase in price above the 90 EMA, which is also currently about 60 as well. But even at that, I mean, at best, you're in a neutral condition. And at the end of the day, there's an old market cliche, and it's a cliche for a reason. You don't catch a falling knife. And guys, you still have crude increasing momentum to the downside in an increasing volume condition. Yeah. What are we even doing here? I mean, seriously, this is an obvious stay away until you start to see some reversal characteristics on crude. And no, I don't care about your zone defense. I don't care about your support level at 56, 54, 52. If crude wants to fly, crude will fly regardless of what you think. It does not care about your support levels if crude's going to break 58. I would hesitate because of the increasing volatility and because of this, because of the increasing volume, until you see some degree of reversal here.
Well, and that's always the prudent thing to do. And it's what we teach in the step system, Matt. I believe in almost every one of the modules that teaches patterns is price confirmation. You know, getting that price confirmation on different time frame. It's an advanced technique, but it's a skill that every technician should have. Going down to a shorter time frame, waiting for it to double bottom, get back above the 50-period moving average. All those things sound great. We'll see if and when they do happen. It's interesting. It reminds me a lot of what happened in September for obvious reasons. We gapped out to the same level. Now we're coming back. And if you want one just real simple example, it just kept selling there, Matt.
Well, and that's what I said last week when I called it untradeable to the buy side here, is because, outside that first reaction, once we saw kind of crude kind of break those support levels intraday, and it just really reminded me of the volatility that came into Saudi Arabia with those missile strikes in Saudi Arabia in September. And now you're starting to see a little hesitation, very similar to what we saw back then. And I'll just remind you, it went from 58 to 52 real quickly. And your bull put, even though it would be out of the money still, would be driving you absolutely crazy, because you would be losing a lot of money on that trade, even if it's still out of the money. Mm-hmm. I think it's too risky. We need some more information. And again, for me with crude right now, we can talk technical analysis and efficient market theory and just trust your eyes all you want, but it's going to be news driven geopolitically, in my opinion. And I just don't want to take that risk into equation.
Yep. That's why I'm kind of hesitating on it. There's no doubt. One that I have not hesitated, although the candle's not great today, but I continue to maintain a position, and I'm even uncovered the calls on it. Actually, I was going to go to gold. Natural gas, I still have bull puts on that one for sure. And we're going to have to microanalyze that a bunch over the next month, I'm sure. But there's not much there today, by the way. Bear retracement into the falling moving average. You seen anything on the chart?
You got a probability factor to the downside here, but I mean, it's not aggressive. I wouldn't be too concerned. And, as long as you're underneath 2, and I believe you're at 180, I believe is where your bull put is, right? Mm-hmm. 180, 185, something like that.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. Not yet.
I'm playing that defense there, and I've brought it back into the rotation. I'm going to keep it there as long as it keeps working. Even with all the micro analysis, Matt, real quick, all the crowing I've done over the last 3 months about it's crazy and what do you think?
Every single one of them cash flowed.
Yeah,
every single one of them is cash flowed, and
because commodities are awesome.
Because commodities are awesome. I mean, think about it, guys. It's currently at 216. Tim, you've sold a 180 put spread. I mean, you got to talk about 36 cents to the downside, Tim. That is like a 17% price movement. I mean, when you just think about the 30 cents, it's not that big. When you look at 216 to 180, that's not big. But are we really saying that natural gas is going to go down 16, 17, 18% in the next 2 weeks?
Anybody who trades commodity knows it can, but I'm still in the trade for a reason, so there's the probability, I believe, is in my favor on that regard. And quite frankly, I already have a profit on it. I've thought about pulling it off early if I see any kind of weakness.
And when in doubt, trust Delta, and you have a 2 Delta with the 98% probability. So
Yep. Gold. I need some analysis on gold, because we're all bullish on gold, at least in terms of our long-term expectation. Short-term price action can change it, and obviously news can change it, Matt. But
to be fair, we're bullish on gold even when gold's going down. So
correct. We are gold bugs. I think it's almost fair to say that at this point, Matt.
No, we're not.
We're not gold bugs. No way. Gold bugs live in the mountain with guns and ammo and think about the end of the world. That's not us.
Sign me up.
Gold bug means that you believe that a Fed is artificially increasing money supply and driving central banks to buy gold, and that the whole monetary system is soft, then
we would drink at the same pub as gold bugs. How about that?
That's like Ron Swanson. He's like, I don't know how much money I have. I know how many pounds of money I have, because he put everything he has in gold.
Yeah. And mind you, Ron Swanson's one of the greatest TV characters of all time.
Yes, he is.
Of all time.
About it. This pullback on gold, Matt, is it a pullback? Number one, how do you read that candle when you've got that long upper wick? Do you even care on the daily and maybe go to a different time frame like the weekly and look big picture? What's your read on gold here?
It's a little concerning that gold's down today and the dollar's kind of down, just kind of hanging out neutral. I mean, we're not down that much, 10 points. You're really kind of testing that support level at 150 right now. The 9 EMA has caught up to the momentum of this, which is what you want to see. I mean, quite frankly, when you see an increasing momentum condition that we've seen in gold over the course of the last month, You want to see that pullback come down. You want to see the 9 EMA catch up to it, and eventually that 20-day moving average is going to catch up to it. Obviously with today's down day in the market, you're not looking to buy here, but I can easily be convinced of looking at a trigger above that double top we have at 1564 here too. So when you're looking at gold, yeah, you don't like what you're seeing here today, but if you couple that in with what we're seeing over the course of the last 3 days, with that 9 EMA, with that 1500 being very, very solid, with the last 2-3 days having that 1564 trigger, yeah, I could see the gold traders and the commodity traders saying, okay, let's let this kind of subside. Let's let it smooth out the volatility. And then if it gets above 1564, let's start buying again.
Yeah, there's an intraday trigger there that I think you can easily map out a swing trade. I'd have to test out the reward to risk on the targeting and whatnot. I've been bullish gold, and I actually own positions on gold like almost every trader I know for some time. I guess one thing is, maybe if you had a covered call like on the ETF or something, would you uncover here, or would you let that continue to ride?
No, I wouldn't leave it uncovered. I mean, if you're looking at covered calls on GLD, and I know some traders love doing covered calls on GLD and whatnot, I probably wouldn't leave that uncovered until we trigger back above yesterday's high. So maybe around 147. I mean, if you trigger above 147, maybe you leave it uncovered. But outside of that, yeah, I think you do want to keep things covered right now in gold.
Mark, one thing about you being the producer of the podcast is you get to ask us what our opinions are, but we don't always get to ask you where you think gold's going to go. Matt and I had very bullish targets on gold this year. What's your read on the metal right now? Are you as bullish as Matt and I were? I mean, what's your take?
Listen, I have a tremendous bias on commodities in general, that when you hit elevated levels, I have just a bias to stay away. I'm a bottom feeding commodities guy, will always be that for the next 25 years. So when you look at it, and to get a perspective of that, I go to 10 years at least of price history. And so if you look at 10 years of price history, where is gold in relation? Now, I love the fundamentals, the whole Fed, the whole central banks, the whole, easing of monetary policy, huge fundamental basis for gold, which provides good trading opportunities. But it's just my nature. Like last year, this time, I was screaming buy gold. I just don't scream like that now because of the bias I have on elevated price levels. I just don't go to look to add to my long-term holdings. I might trade, I might mess around, but that core, I'm not letting go of this once I own it. I don't care what commodity is. I don't care what year it is. I'm always going to be hesitant at higher levels. But, the fundamentals are really, really solid. Would I expect gold to go up this year? Of course. I mean, look what the central bank's doing. Adding $100 gazillion a month.
Well, then let me push back on that then. If you expect it to go up, why do you have to ascribe to a theory that you got to get a bottom fish?
I didn't say it was a theory. I said it was a bias.
I think there's a point here to be made that he might not be adding to positions, but he's not deleting positions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's letting his plan play out, and he's just not going to add to his net position, which would probably break position size rules for Mark.
And the big thing is, Tim, I think what gold might do this year. I know bottom fishing commodities is a winning long-term strategy. And
let's talk about that for a second, because bottom feeding commodities is a very important investment theory, in my opinion. It's because of what we believe in the commodity market about how when they shut down the supply, it puts artificial bottoms in the commodity prices.
Yep.
And so when you're talking about crude oil, when crude gets to around $50, you probably should add to positions, because the oil companies who are not profitable under $50, they're going to shut down drilling, is what they're going to do. And as they shut down drilling, they're going to basically send the roughnecks home, and that creates artificial demand because it cuts out the supply side. Gold miners do it, natural gas frackers do it, oil frackers do it. And that's why, when you see these, certain levels on commodities, yeah, I mean, even if it flies in the face of technical analysis, you should probably add 2 position sizes at that point. Whereas when commodities are going up and up and up and up, what happens is the opposite happens. They start opening up the mines. They start opening up the floodgates. They start, fracking for more oil and natural gas, and it puts artificial resistance levels in there. And so I think that's what kind of the heart of what Mark is talking about, is how these mining companies and these oil drillers, kind of how they, shut down production versus increase production at different prices. I mean, me and Mark were talking on the halftime report just 2 weeks ago about how if oil ever gets to $70, yeah, man, you probably should start the selling process, because Russia's going to open up the floodgates.
Mm-hmm.
No. And this week in the commodities report, go check it out. I did a whole hour-long class live on Saturday talking about oil, and went into depth into an extended version of what Matt just said. Same basis, just me using lots more words and examples to describe that. So, and all of that was just a very tricky way of not giving you an exact price level, Tim.
He doesn't like to be pinned down to these things. He does not.
He doesn't. If there's one thing he can't stand, it's him being wrong, and so he's not.
I have the fear of being right. That like that whole classic. What are the big four fears? Who did the book? I can't remember the author's name right now, but those fears. The fear of being right. That's one of my fears. Absolutely.
Oh, the fear. I don't know this book. What are you talking about? 10 biggest fears holding you back from success, I found.
Once again, you never read my podcast prep notes, or you would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the fear of being right. We'll have to go through that in the podcast. So that is something that definitely. I mean, my biggest fear, though, honestly, is probably missing out.
Mark Douglas is trading in the zone.
There you go. I fall into the fear of missing out a lot of times, Matt, because I don't want to miss that big rally in gold. That's why I keep staring at it. I missed palladium. Palladium is just continuing to be a juggernaut, keeps hitting all-time highs all the time. And it drives me crazy that I missed that trend. Platinum is looking decent here. The metals market just grabs my attention all the time.
You can sign me up for a breakout of 1,000 on platinum, by the way.
Platinum would be a beautiful breakout.
High base on palladium setting up. There's some trades here in the commodity market.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's talk about a few companies, as we kind of look at the week and all that kind of stuff. The biggest news is going to be coming throughout the week, quite frankly, because you've got earnings, even just tomorrow, Matt, JP Morgan, Delta Airlines, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. I always think of the first week of earnings as bank earnings. Now, that doesn't mean it's only banking companies or finance companies, but we'll be breaking those down as they go. But here in the news today, Tesla, number one, I think we got to talk about it. Another upgrade here at Oppenheimer, all the way to a $612 price target. I mean, guys, this thing.
We're just making stuff up on Tesla at this point.
It's a runaway train.
I just want to be very, very clear. Nobody is right on Tesla. Everybody is wrong. And if there's one company that represents the fake economy of 2020, it is Tesla. There is nothing real here. This is absolutely insane what we're seeing going on in Tesla. And I never thought I would think this, but which one's more fake? This one or Beyond Meat or Tilray? I don't even know at this point. Oppenheimer coming out with 612. How'd you make that one up, Oppenheimer? Literally, they just pulled it out of thin air. Oppenheimer says 312. This other bank says 360. Everybody's just making things up. And this company does not want to stop. And by the way, with that said, it probably will go to 612 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unbelievable. By the way, I did read your podcast notes on the one thing, Mark. I guess Elon Musk has a little bit of a fetish with Bitcoin. Is that right?
Oh, we don't need to talk about Musk.
Listen, if you want to know, hey, that's the ultimate tease. If you want to know what that fetish is, check out the Trading Justice podcast released later today.
Bitcoin. Oh,
pull that audio. I need that as my ringtone. Matt screaming Bitcoin over
Bitcoin
on a loop, Cody. I absolutely
so aggressive there, buddy.
It was something. Yeah.
Listen, regardless of whatever said, it's completely overinflated here. But that breakout of 500 is legit. 500 is a significant whole number. You're breaking out on strong volume here, regardless of what the news is. I don't know if there's a more bullish company in the market right now than Tesla. The shorts are literally running and screaming and just trying to get away from this as fast as they can. The fanboys are celebrating. Elon's dancing. Everybody's upgrading. It's absolutely insane. But this is the most bullish company in the market. Oh man, they better have a good earnings report though.
Well, maybe in the course of just last 5 trading days, it might be beyond meat. This short covering rally on that stock is impressive. There's no question about it. It's gone from about what, $80, $70 to 111 in 5 trading days. Now, I don't think anybody needs to hear this. You should already know this, but be very, very cautious with this company. When you get short covering rallies off the bottom like that, take note. Maybe a trend develops. I would not chase this for any reason on the planet.
Well, did you know what the news was, right? That
Well,
drove this up?
I knew that they were partnering with McDonald's. There's a bunch of other stuff going on. I
No, it was like
basically heard
the news was like 6 people in Des Moines decided to switch to be vegetarian, and that's all it takes to trigger a short selling rally on Beyond Meat. So
I like it. Well, maybe
I'm not using
maybe it
much
was the Burger King advertisement that the moms of America were against for some reason. I don't the Impossible Burger. Who knows? Let's just do what everybody else does. Let's just make up some reason for Beyond Meat going up.
No, that's all it takes. Like literally, like 6 people like Impossible Burger in Des Moines, and wow, the Beyond Meat will go up $30.
Yeah, and you're like, well, that has nothing to do with Beyond Meat. It's like, so we got to buy something.
Like seriously, Beyond Meat is an irrational.
It honestly is laughable when you
Cold stocks can go to $519. IEC last company we just discussed.
They can. I was going to say, Tim, I mean, we're hesitating above 100. Wait till you're hesitating above 200 here.
Dude, I mean, it would not surprise me if Beyond Meat went into some crazy parabolic trend again. It is a cult stock.
All right. Okay, let's remove the name from the equation here. Right. Yeah. And if you're just looking at this technically, you have increasing momentum, massive increases in volume, a breakout of a significant whole number in 100, a gap fill that then built momentum after the gap fill off of a tremendous bearish market that had a tremendous amount of evidence of slowing down right about $75, double bottom, double top, breakout, reclaim all the moving averages. If you're looking at this from a different perspective, taking the name from the equation, you see some technical situations here where price should continue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't really see
a
problem.
The fact that the company sucks.
Oh, we like to make fun. Yeah, come on. We're going to make fun of Beyond Meat.
And when I say it sucks, all I'm talking about is I'm not a fan of companies that don't.
Oh, come on. You're anti-environmentalism. You're anti-vegan. You're anti-vet. If you say something negative about Beyond Meat, it must mean you're anti-everything that anybody believes in. It's just ridiculous.
I am an excellent.
Why do you hate our environment, Matt?
Why do you hate humanity?
Why do you hate the earth?
Things that you didn't know about me is that I'm actually a really good vegan chef. So I bet you didn't.
No, you're not. You don't agree with Beyond Meat. You don't like Beyond Meat, which means you hate everybody else.
So
first of all, to watch this go off the rails would be my greatest joy in life today. But I'm not going to let it.
I just want to know what I need to get offended at today.
Listen, this is why I hate Twitter. Like whenever you guys want me to do Twitter, I get on Twitter and then somebody says something and I'm like, I don't want to interact with these people. I made some snarky comment about Beyond Meat and then some millennial Yahoo's like, you have no idea. Don't you understand that the market prices in future? The future. Beyond Meat, $400 in all caps.
Yeah, thanks for that, dumbass.
You don't get it, man.
You don't get it, man.
You don't get it, man. Don't you understand the market prices in the future? The future.
Yes, we understand what a PE ratio. Thank you. We understand that.
In the future, they still won't be making money.
And hold on. What's the current PE ratio? We understand what occurs. So in 162 years, they might show a profit. Hypothetically, maybe, just maybe. It's in the future, man.
Future.
They have a negative PE ratio, don't they? Unless
they're debt driven. Are you kidding me?
This is a debt driven company.
This is not a company that will show a profit in the next decade. Put it down. 2020s, the roaring 20s will not show a profit.
Uber will show a profit before these people.
Oh Lord.
And that's
I think we got to stay dinner on that one.
Price action.
I don't think Uber will ever show a profit.
Listen, my Uber driver almost killed me the other night, so I'm not very happy with Uber.
Like driving, or he turned around with a knife?
It was a she.
This requires context here.
Okay. I was going to get drunk and sing karaoke. All right.
Okay.
And she pulls out, crosses 4 lanes of traffic, almost gets hit by 2 different cars. and then proceeds for the next 15 minutes to tell me all of her life's problems.
Listen, the only thing I want in life is for my hairstylist and my Uber driver to just not talk to me.
Did you know that Debbie is just too giving and that she just takes in too many people?
She is. She's too kind, Mark. I get it. She's too kind. By the way, breakout of $35 on Uber's legit too.
Yeah, I still
Totally
like both
legit.
the Uber and Lyft reversals. There's a lot of great reversals. I mean, Mark, if you're in the mood for bottom fishing, by the way, I was going through the Tackle 25, Lyft, Slack, Uber. There's a bunch of companies. Not all of those are Tackle 25.
I only bottom fish companies that I'd willing to be owned for a long time. And while I
Slack
totally believe in
Technologies.
the Uber, I totally believe in the Lyft and Uber are going to be here forever. I really like, at least the industry.
Mm-hmm.
But gosh, you got to show a profit before I want to like just say I'm going to own you at this price forever. But but from a trading standpoint, yeah, that breakout of 35 is really nice.
So when
it's setting up to be a pretty decent little trade here.
I'll trade anything, right, Matt? You'll trade anything.
Oh man, I'll trade Tesla. Whatever you hear us say about a company, it's based on certain beliefs and fundamental factors and whatnot. And sometimes we just like to make fun of the insanity of the market sometimes. And let's face it, the market's insane right now, guys. I mean, we're in a zero growth environment with the recessions happening from around the world and increasing geopolitical tensions coming into an election year. And it's just like, buy everything because the Fed, because
just
the
don't
underlying
understand. The market's about the future.
It's about the future, and 31 PE ratios are normal in today's environment of monetary policy and all that jazz. But, it's just, we like to make fun of some of the insanity of it. And let's face it, guys, our industry is full of insane people.
Yeah. I mean, people that literally just ascribe to opinions that aren't really well thought out, and then they will fight for them until the last day of their trading account.
I just need to figure out a way to accurately describe my fundamental economic, spiritual, political beliefs in 280 characters on Twitter. I just need to figure that one out.
Well, you need to tweet every day like Trump for the rest of your life. So
I can't
just
do that.
Make it an extension of your consconsciousness and just let it out, Matt. I mean, that's what it is, I guess.
Only Trump gets away with that one. That's only Trump gets away with that one. But I'm going to give you guys two trades here. You tell me which one that you are like just technically sound. Okay, you got the Uber breakout of 35. Right? Reversal patterns, double top, double bottoms, really slowing its momentum coming into 35, legit breakout. Or I'm going to give you the AMD breakout of $50 off a high base with an increased momentum environment. Which
give
one?
Me Uber. It's easy for me.
I would take AMD on the momentum.
Yeah, so
I'm probably going to take them both. The more I look at it, the more I might like that Uber trade. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the AMD trade too, and both these companies.
Once Timmy picked AMD, I'm following Uber's chart for the next every second the market is open until that breakout occurs.
Hey, give me Lockheed Martin above 420.
That wasn't the choice. That's why you don't
wait. Do we have a 420 joke? We have a 420 joke?
No.
Oh, it's
price target confirmed.
14. Yeah. There you go, buddy.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing about the chip makers. You can't go wrong with an Uber reversal. And there's a lot of reversals I do like. I love the Slack reversal. I like the Uber reversal. I love reversal patterns, that W inverted head and shoulder stuff. But Matt, the SOX index has been the strongest area of the market during this run. Betting against it seems silly.
If the SOX break out, I don't care. Micron, AMD, Intel, Applied. I mean, they'll all do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think you want to miss that breakout on the SOX, by the way. This is a sector and industry that has just been on fire for the last 9-10 months. And there's a lot of momentum because of 5G networks and the kind of the anticipation of 5G coming into the market this year. And I know they started testing it last year, but most of those companies are going to be coming out with 5G this year. And there's just a lot of momentum here. So no, I don't think you want to miss that breakout here.
By the way, if you want to learn how to trade one of these setups, there's an AMAT full setup with the entry, the stop, the targets in the video and the write-up on the option report over the weekend. If you are a member of our community, you already know what those reports are all about. And if you're a pro member right now, we've got a big audience out there, really engaged. Just type in the word pro in the chat or hashtag Team Tackle, and let's get the word out. Cody, you always drop that 15-day trial in the comments at the bottom of the video. Is that right?
I'll drop it in there.
Yeah, an AMAT. I mean, you could make the argument for an AMAT breakout up here as well. It's got a nice little triple top, and if it did break, it would be significant. But that whole index, I mean, take your pick. AMD, AMAT, there's a bunch of them that are looking pretty good, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Yep.
By the way, I'm going to have a Beyond Meat hamburger for lunch. I'm just.
Where are you going to get it?
Where am I going to get it? Out of my fridge.
Yeah. Okay. So you buy.
My family's vegetarian.
So you buy the product from the grocery store.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't had the product. I've heard it's good.
I would say 90% of everything I eat in today's environment is vegetarian based, grass protein based. Yep. And I would also say that's not because of my choice.
Well, that's the thing about having family, right? You're going to end up adapting to it. You got like 3 vegans in your household alone, right?
Vegetarians, not vegans.
Vegetarians, yeah. All right, boys. Well,
hey, real quick, before we close
this out.
LSU, Clemson, who you guys got?
Ooh, I'm going with Clemson just because Tim went with LSU.
What's the line?
I got LSU.
LSU's good, no doubt. LSU's good. Burrow's legit. I forget the name of the kid that quarterbacks Clemson though, and I think he's actually better.
I love that LSU coach. I love him. His attitude about how to lead a college football program. I give me LSU. I think it would be a nice story for them to come back and get the ring again. When's the last time they won one? By the way,
I don't know.
LSU.
Let's ask Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google knows everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Mark, you care about college football at all? Do you not care?
No.
Say la vie, brother. Well, we've got a podcast, dude. We're going to be recording today and releasing that. We do it each and every Monday.
By the way, the answer to that question is 2007.
Okay. I was going to say mid-sevens. Mid 2000s.
The mid-sevens?
Mid 2000s.
Mid-sevens?
The mid-sevens. The mid-sevens. 780. 780. In fact,
Justin's podcast today. It's going to be awesome. Download it later tonight.
I agree. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be back here tomorrow with the halftime report. Matt, that dolphin hat kind of blends into the shark there. Or is that an Eagles hat? That's an Eagles hat. Yeah.
You've never seen a good-looking dolphin hat. This is a good-looking eagle hat.
By the way, pretty good.
Actually, the dolphin football hat might blend in with the green screen, like if you were wearing one.
I'm bringing Pennywise back.
Nope, don't do it. Our audience has spoken. They don't like it. So
no, they don't.
They do not like it.
Well, the thing is the background of his screen a democracy or a dictatorship? And it's not Matt who's in charge.
It's his screen.
If that's the question. We all know I can be a dictator at times. So.
Are you that easily triggered that Cody can trick you into changing it? He's trying to play a mind game. He's trying to play a mind game on you.
Did I change it?
No, you have not.
Matt, are you a real man? A real man would put up what he wants behind his screen.
All right, guys. Join us in Tackle Trading. We do this halftime report each and every day on YouTube. And by the way, we're at 5.98 subscribers. I want to get 20 more subscribers here this week and pop over 6K. It's a goal of mine. If you've not subscribed yet, click on the subscribe. That one's not the worst image of Pennywise, by the way. There are other ones that are scarier to me. The one with the teeth and whatnot.
I like that one.
See, and it worked, Cody.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I like that one.
I like it.
I like
moon.
the moon.
I like the moon. Yeah, it's peaceful.
Makes me ponder.
Yeah, contemplate. That AMD breakout. No, you don't need to contemplate that one. If it breaks out, you'll take it.
Contemplate that. Uber above 35, AMD above 50. I just like the AMD because 50 is a really, really significant whole number. Yeah, but I like both those true trades.
Good setup. Good setup. All right, guys, we're going to bring
wait.
U.S.
I want to
removing
bet.
China as a currency manipulator either. I don't like that.
I want to bet Tim on the AMD versus Uber breakout.
Ooh. Are you going steak dinner?
No, I'm doing loser.
Well, hold on. I'm all for a bet. I lost a steak dinner bet with Matt the other day.
This bet is like the loser shovels, the other one sidewalks.
Oh, that's legit.
So what's the bet though?
We'll come up with the parameters later today, but loser has to shovel the other.
We'll come up with it in the podcast.
Okay, I'm down for this. I like it. All right,
I'm staying away from this because I am not shoveling anybody's snow.
Yeah, listen, shoveling snow is not my favorite thing. One thing I've recently been doing is making my kids do it. So that is the beauty.
Is that why we have kids?
That's one of the reasons you have kids. I'm so glad I got a boy on the way. I'll
final
have
thought.
chores taken care of in the future.
That's labor for years, Cody.
That's right.
If I lose the bet, I'll be over shoveling Tim's sidewalk. If he loses the bet, there'll be some random dude show up knocking on my door that says, "Hey, here to shovel a sidewalk."
Hey, I believe in the gig economy. All right. I know some guys there in South Jordan that need work there, Mark. So we can send them over. No, I'll come shovel your sidewalk if I lose the bet. We'll set the parameters in the podcast. By the way, we're going to go do that right now. We got to go. We will see you guys tomorrow in the halftime report. Real fun show here today, guys. Matt, Mark, great job. Cody, you did okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
I didn't really participate today, so I mean, it was easy on my end.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're out.
You gotta hit the stop.